This is the K599 wireless Bluetooth keyboard, and this was sent to me for the purpose of making videos. So thank you thank you to the distributor. And this is a keyboard that is designed for Mac computers. Of course, it is based on the original Apple keyboard design. And as a keyboard that is designed for Apple computers, it has all the media shortcuts that you would expect to see on this type of keyboard. They all function great. And I guess one of the main difference between this and the original keyboard is the fact that this one, the lock button right here, does not have a fingerprint reader. Another difference is that it is not aluminum, it is mostly made of plastic. However, the build feels pretty solid. It doesn't have that much flex, as you can see. It is very lightweight, and it charges via USB-C. You do have a power switch right here that as soon as you turn it on, the keyboard will start looking for, by default, the wireless dongle. Now this wireless mode is 2.4 gigahertz, and it has this dongle right here that comes in the box. Speaking of the box, you get the keyboard, this dongle, and a USB-A to USB-C cable. That's fairly long for a keyboard. I would say it's about 6 feet, so very standard. And it also feels very nice. It feels very much like the original Apple cables. So there's that. Now, aside from the 2.4 gigahertz Bluetooth not Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection, you can also connect via Bluetooth to 2 additional devices. So this is one of the greatest perks of this keyboard, aside from the looks and aside of the typing feel, which is pretty good. And the fact that you can connect to 3 wireless devices at the same time. Of course, you have to toggle between each of them, but the connection is very quick to establish between all of the devices. So the way that you switch between devices is you press function, the function key right here, that if you single press it, it will change the language if you have set more than 1 languages in your Mac OS system. For example, in my case, I do have more than 1 language, so a single press simply switches the language of your keyboard input. But if you press and hold, it functions as the extra function button. So you press and hold, and you press 1, this one right here, and it will toggle the first Bluetooth connection, so it's BT1. And in fact, the keyboard in your whatever device you want to connect it to will be shown as K599 BT1. So if you press function and the number 2, or the key for 2, you will connect to the second Bluetooth device, so it will show as KB5, I think it's KB599 BT2, and that's how it's going to show up on your other devices. And finally, function 3 will simply default to the wireless 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which I just showed you a few minutes ago. It has a very nice typing feel, so I can type just my normal speed. I am, of course, a little bit quicker on a mechanical keyboard, but probably because I'm more used to that. But this is a keyboard that is very portable, meant to be used for example, a Mac Mini. If you have one of the latest Mac Minis, then this is going to work perfectly, except, of course, for the lack of fingerprint reader, which is very nice to have, but I guess you cannot have that on third-party keyboards, so not really a limitation of this keyboard itself, but maybe a limitation of Apple, who knows. So the battery life is pretty decent. I have not really tested it all the way through, up to it discharging. I like to charge my keyboards every couple of days, just in case, not because it requires it, but because I like to just, be ahead of the game, so to speak. So this keyboard is not adjustable. It has a single height. So again, based on the original Apple keyboard, and it looks pretty good. I like it. So I'm going to show you the manual, just in case you happen to buy this keyboard and you happen to lose the manual, so you may reference this video to remember what the manual had. So I'm going to show you right here. So if you need to check anything on the manual, you can pause the video and read it, but basically it tells you all the shortcuts that it has and the way that you can connect to your devices. So basically in 2.4 gigahertz USB mode, so that's when you use the dongle, or the Bluetooth mode is when you press and hold the function key along with the 1 or 2 keys for a couple of seconds and you will see the blinking lights on the wireless signal, the wireless symbol that has the LED right there in the top right corner, or the top right, well, not necessarily corner, but yeah, top right of the keyboard. So like I mentioned a while ago, this is primarily designed for Mac systems, but if you want to use it on Windows or Android, there are shortcuts that you can select for you to enable better functionality on those devices. So for Windows devices, you need to press the function and the W key, and it will change, pretty much it changes the way that the Control, Alt, and or Option and Command keys are mapped into your Windows system. If you're using an Android device, then you press function and E, and it will move around some shortcuts for better use on Android devices. I have not personally tested that one myself. And yeah, you can use the multimedia functions by pressing the function key along with the F1 to F12 keys. If you want to set it back to Mac system, in case you switch it to Windows or to Android system, then simply press and hold the function key along with the Q key. Alright, so the status display tells you what's going on with the keyboard. For example, the power indicator usually turns on with the wireless symbol, and it turns off after a couple of seconds, just to conserve power. And it lets you know when it's charging, of course, and it lets you know when the battery is low. So again, if you want to reference this manual, then you can go ahead and pause the video, and I will let you see this right here. So again, thank you for watching. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope to see you in the next one, and until then, may God bless you all.